Thank you very much for making a date on today's edition of the Marketplace, and welcome back. Now, economist Professor Peter Quartey says the world will be watching to see if Ghana can survive without the IMF. In an interview with Joy Business, he indicated government would have to intensify its revenue generation capacity locally to be able to stay on top.
Yeah, I think the decision was based on our achievements, and you could see from the statement that they even commended the government for achieving most of the targets, which for me looks good. They also cautioned a few things. One is the level of debt that the country has. You know, the increasing debt burden was one caution they gave quite strongly, and also the need to increase revenue mobilization. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we would go and borrow more, and that would not be good for our risk profile. That would not be good for our exchange rates, and would not inure to our benefit. Then also the issue about debt. When you're unable to raise enough revenue, then obviously you would have to focus more on borrowing, which comes with interest rates, repayment issues. If you look at how much we spend on debt servicing, it's quite high. After paying for wages and salaries, what is left becomes very little for capital expenditure. So that caution we have to take seriously going forward.
Meanwhile, Senior Minister Yaw Osafo-Maafo has indicated that Ghana exiting the IMF is one of the most remarkable economic successes of the country under the Kufuor-led administration. He was addressing the 6th Annual Conference and Exhibition of the Ghana Insurance Brokers Association, GIBA, in Kumasi on the theme, Capitalization, What is Adequate? The Senior Minister stressed the need for insurance companies to adhere to the code of ethics of the industry to make it more vibrant in meeting the needs of the economy.
The industry players must make insurance attractive, and you may not need even a law to get more people to buy them. Many people complain about insurance companies doing everything possible to avoid paying claims or undue delays in the payment of claims. Insurance companies. When people want claims settled, there are always people in difficulty. So that when people are at that psychological trauma, looking for what is due them, which you have taken by law, and by law they should get something out, and you play all kinds of delay tactics to frustrate such claimants, it's just not right. And that is what will make them lose confidence in the insurance business.
Now, despite the impressive performance of the cedi against some other international currencies, some professional students from the University of Ghana Business School say the cedi's earlier performance had taken a toll on them, as they say the cedi is only doing well against the dollar but not the pound sterling. They spoke with Charles Aiti.
I do have here with me Charles and Solomon, as well as Clement. They're going to be sharing with us their thoughts on this whole issue of the cedi.
I had to convert the cedis into pounds. Well, it was a cry to them actually, because they were very willing to help me pass or write the paper, but yes, when it came to the part where I had to convert the cedis to pounds, and talking about pounds being £1 to 6 points.
I mean, one of the strongest currencies that we have.
I mean, and they weren't ready to accept any cedi, so I had to convert it. Even the trouble of conversion was hell.
So sometimes it delays the process of you having to access the education, right? What about, I'm going to come back to you, but what about you, Solomon?
I think for those doing ACC, I actually did ICA, those doing ACC who have to pay in pounds, you are paying in pounds, the pound rate is rising, and then your parents are earning the same. Like, it's a very big crisis in the family, considering that we all go by the motivation, keep trying. And you know, some of these professional courses are very tough. You need to balance doing the professional courses and balance your study here in school, and then you end up failing. Like it's a lot of traumatic experience for students.
So the trickle-down effect is, you know, most students failing their professional papers.
Yes, so once they fail, they're like, oh, so I'm going to pay this amount again. And moreover, the parity is not remaining the same. Like the rate is not remaining the same, and it's always increasing. And so you are always feeling that trauma.
So you're in class, but you're thinking about what happens to the city tomorrow. Anyways, Charles, so help us with the exact amount. How much do most professional students pay in terms of the pounds sterling?
Okay, we could be looking at no less than £100, I would say.
£100.
Yes, £100. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are doing the conversion and you have, let's say, 3 cedi is to £1, it is like 300 cedis is to £100. I would say that was previously then. But right now you're looking at 6.8. You can see the difference.
700
like,
cedis.
It's really hell.
Just hearing the fact that you need to convert or pay in pounds is a discouraging factor. It discourages the others. So it's actually a general plight for students with this cedi depreciation.
Your final thoughts, Solomon, on this particular topic, the impact it's having on professional students?
As a country, I believe that if we're supposed to move forward, and right now I think I believe we are in an era of knowledge sharing or selling knowledge. I believe that the country can move forward if we have more professionals, but if this is happening, then it means that the rate of having professionals is going to reduce, and then as a country are still going to be down there, going to seek knowledge outside, because I believe knowledge is one of the commodities that you can trade without having a raw material yourself. And so if this rate issue is causing students to back out of entering into the professional field,
it's something that we'll have to be concerned about.
It's a very big problem.
Gentlemen, let's now end up with the solutions. I mean, we have started with our impressions about the city. We delved into how it's impacting us personally. But what do you think would be the solutions that we could, you know, profile in terms of the city's performance?
Well, I really follow current news a lot. I read last year's budget where our exports showed a positive surplus, like it was a surplus. Solution would be the government employing more products or more resources into local industries, creating of local industries, more indigenous country industries for the country.
That we have to check our import-export ratios. But I believe that as a country, we cannot stop foreign direct investment into the country. So by all means, we may be having situations of profit repatriation and etc. But I believe that even with our exports, we should rather focus on adding more value to what we export than just exporting them raw like that. I think there was a video article some time ago where a chocolate was showed to a cocoa farmer and was asked, well, what is this? He was like, I don't know. So I believe we should consider the things we have more comparative advantage in producing, and then we should add value to them before we export.
And when you look at America, most of the companies in America are being ruled by Chinese. Yes, to the trade in the dollar. If you go to the UK, it's the same thing. When it comes to Ghana, people value to trade in the dollar more than the cedi. You get it? So if you are looking at the government side, we should be looking at the individuals too. We should have the great desire to demand for the cedi. The more we value our cedi, the more it hits the market, and the more we are able to match the cedi against the foreign countries. Currency. Yeah.
Great. Charles, Solomon, Clement, thank you very much, gentlemen,
thank you very much.
Analysis. So you did hear the side of the argument in terms of the best ways by which we could arrest the depreciation of the city. The effect is not really that significant when it comes to the pricing across the regional market. So we shall be engaging most of these people. We shall be getting their views on this to help us understand where we stand currently in terms of the city's strength against major currencies across the world.
And those were some students of the University of Ghana Business School sharing their thoughts on the current performance of the city against other international currencies and its impact that's having on school fees. Moving on, the coordinator of the assessment and certification of the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, Seth Okua Samoa, says technical vocation education and training, TVET, in Ghana is undergoing some reforms, departing from the current traditional way of training into more competent-based approach. He said the new approach designs programs for TVET schools to match industry. Setu Kwasamwa said this when the Ghana TVET voucher project team visited the Daboka Technical Institute in the northern region. Martina Bugri has sent in this report.
The German government is funding the voucher project in some selected technical schools where apprentices and master craftsmen undergo training to build their capacity. The project is in its second phase with a 20 million euro support from the German government with a co-funding of 2 million euros from the Ghana government. Mr. Samoa said the concept is industry demand.
In Ghana is undergoing a number of reforms, and it is moving away from the current traditional way of training into more of competence-based approach. This competence-based approach is an industry demand-driven concept. What it simply means is that if there is no need for the program, you don't start it in the first place.
The fund manager for TVET voucher, Emmanuel Bequin, said the project is being run currently in 4 regions and they intend to upscale it across the country.
It was 20 million euros. We disbursed about 5 million euros, with 50 million euros outstanding. We started the project in 4 regions: Volta, Northern, Greater Accra, and Ashanti. And then we are now expanding to almost all the country. There are some minor issues we have to resolve, but thankfully, by end of 2019, the first quarter of 2020 should be everywhere.
The team leader for the Ghana TVET voucher project, Collins Amoa, said they were impressed about how the Daboka Technical Institute was using the machines to generate income for the school.
This is one of the game changers that the country is doing. We have witnessed and also heard about the institution, generating their own IGF through the skills that they are giving to their students in order to improve whatever they are doing, so that they can come out with products and services and earn some kind of income from it.
Principal of the Daboka Technical, Mariama Mahama, said government was into some TVET reforms and the school is one of the beneficiaries.
Now, a number of youth groups across Africa with support from some farmer-based civil society organizations have impressed on African governments to stop paying lip service and take immediate action on climate change. At the ongoing Africa Climate Week in Accra, the group led by the Ghana Youth Environmental Movement marched onto the streets to protest. They say it is time governments and policymakers moved into action-oriented programs to help mitigate the impact of climate change. Prince Apia was there and now reports.
What do you want? When do you want it? What do you want?
So we are currently
when do you want it?
Part of the climate march, part of the African Climate Week, and this is made up of a number of youth organizations, environmental organizations from across Africa.
We go! We go! What do you want? Climate justice! Now!
So the walk started from the Holy Trinity Cathedral in Accra through some principal streets.
We go! Climate justice! We go!
The aim was to tell African government that enough of the talking.
Action starts now.
Why is it necessary for action to start now?
Because we sign on Paris Agreement and we don't follow it. We allow a lot of things to happen to our climate, and we are here to let them know that the youth are ready to stand for the change, and we want that change now.
Well, for us, we want the voices of the civil society heard and also the youth, because this is the generation that we are saving the planet for, so we want a future. And that is why we are keen on incorporating the voice of the young people in.
What do you want? Climate justice. What do you want? Climate justice.
This march is very, very, very important because it's the climax of the Africa Climate Week celebration. And we want the whole world to contribute.
So gradually, we are almost at the Accra Conference Center, where these youth groups are going to hand over a petition to the leaders at the meeting, the African Climate Week ongoing.
What do you want? Climate justice. What do you want? Now. What do you want? Climate justice. Supporting innovative adaptation and mitigation activities of youth groups and organizations, and support social environmental enterprises for sustainability. Pay attention to the needs of more vulnerable and marginalized groups in policy formulation.
Climate change is real.
Yes.
And we need an action. And we need that action now.
Executive Director of PACJA, Mithika Mwenda, commended the group for their bold action.
I have a lot of confidence with you and the movement which is germinating from today. Let us not end as an event today. Let this become the beginning of the growth of the movement which is going to change this world.
We go! We go!
We go! We go!
What do you want?
Climate justice!
Climate justice! Back here in the studio, society's failure to explore and utilize the ingenuity of special children was highlighted at an event to mark World Social Work Day in Kumasi. Sociologist Dr. John Bullard Foucault believes the failure is partly to blame for Ghana's slow pace of realizing her full economic potential. He spoke at the Community Special Vocational School at Diduakon, where the ceremony was held.
What we do here is that we do beeswax here, we do candles production, we do doormat making, we do tie-and-dye batik making. These are issues that prepare students for lifelong learning.
School head Stanley Mweni enumerates the commercially viable products churned out by inmates. The Diduakon Community Special School is one of the only 2 second cycle facilities for graduates for all schools for persons with special needs in Kumasi. It was established as a private institution in 2002 and absorbed by government in 2005. Students are required to undergo 3 years of skills training in tailoring and dressmaking, leatherwork, as well as bead making, among others. Sociologist Dr. John Bullard Foucault says the country stands to lose if such potentials continue to be neglected.
If we are able to establish a good relationship with them, then we can harness the limitless potential that they have. Because if you look at the artifacts that they develop on a yearly basis, they do slippers, they do beads, etc., etc. It can really boost the economy of Ghana if only the society, the larger Ghanaian society, accept them.
The 2019 edition of the International Social Work Day highlights promotion of importance of human relationships. It's the key day in the year social workers worldwide stand together to celebrate the achievements of the professions. The national organizer of the Ghana Association of Social Workers, Moses Jesse, observes a gradual breakdown of family and workplace as a result of poor relationships. According to him, this has long-term implications on productivity.
This year, we want to say that human relationship is important in the family, at the workplace, in the community, and everywhere we find ourselves. There is a breakdown of the family as a result of poor relationship at home. There is a breakdown in our workplaces where productivity is low as a result of poor communication at the workplace. In our community, we no longer have the community meetings that we used to have, which brings the people together.
The Association of Social Work Students took the opportunity to interact with the special students to create awareness of the importance of social inclusion. Enoch Amponsa is vice president of the association.
Now, Gideon Denzo is on a mission to change the pessimistic view about products made in Ghana. He's doing that through Gideon's, his footwear company. This Ghana month on the Joy Business Van, we bring you the story of this young entrepreneur who is creating business for local craftsmen. Here's a repeat of the Joy Business Van.
If you were not told, you'd think these pieces of footwear were made outside Ghana, maybe Italy, like a Santoni or Salvatore Ferragamo. But no, they're made in Santasi, a suburb of Kumasi in the Ashanti region, by these craftsmen who have been hired by Gideon Denjo, the founder of Giddings, a footwear company.
We started way back casually in 2009 when I was in college, University of Ghana, second year. And that time I wanted to really live a comfortable and sustainable life on campus. So I ventured into shoemaking. Why shoes is that I was introduced to a course in engineering and strength of materials, where I was introduced to a material that could be used as the soles for shoes. And as at that time, students did not really have a lot of money to spare on shoes, not to talk about even buy fake shoes. So I thought it wise to use that material that I've discovered, to be used for the soles of shoes. That could take them for more than 3 to 4 years in their stay.
The shoes are carefully crafted by the artisans Gideon has contracted 6 of them.
When I discovered the new material, I had to travel all the way to Kumasi. And luckily for me, my brother too was in tech, so he introduced me to some few artisans he's seen around. And I had a discussion with them to tell them what I want to do, the vision and all that, and we took it from there. So the first batch we made were just 5 pairs, and luckily for me, all my classmates bought it. Then after a week, I had to order for 20. I was able to sell those ones to within 1 week, moving from one room to the other. Then I ordered for another 65. Then I sold all those ones within 2 weeks. So that was where I realized that I could turn this into something big.
Gideon works on the designs himself and sometimes upon request from customers.
So this is one of our shoes called which is the double monk strap. And it was named after a friend called Atukwe, James Atukwe. And
what's the story behind this?
The story is that guy is more like a perfectionist, and so we had to really inject a lot of color, take time, because this shoe took us close to 12 hours to make.
Wow.
Because of the painting, the hand painting and all that. This weren't black, we had to create that.
At the moment, Giddings makes 200 shoes a month and purchases have exceeded 5,000. Thanks to social media, he's been able to supply every region here in Ghana. Ghana is heavily dependent on imports, affecting local production and the economy, but Gideon wants to change that narrative through his footwear company. Thus, the emphasis on quality.
We have watched closely some of the foreign brands because we benchmark some of the companies, and we've realized that they are not doing so. If the gap is not that much, when it comes to quality, I think we are at par with them. And we're trying hard to make sure we inject Ghana into all our things.
Gideon is also starting a clothing line, aside from producing footwear for both sexes.
The idea is that in the next 5 years, we should be able to blow up into a very big manufacturing plant where we could even offer contract manufacturing for young brands who want to also enter into shoemaking. And I think some few months ago, I engaged the secretary at the embassy of Ethiopia to look at how best we could bring in leathers, to help our businesses.
Like every business, Giddings.
All right, so that's it. You can catch another edition of the Joy Business Fund next Wednesday on Business Live, with a repeat on Wednesday. That's it for the show this afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We have many thanks for watching throughout the week. Do join me again same time next Monday for more developments in the world of business. Have a great weekend.